Training camp is knocking on the door, and just when you think the Kansas City Chiefs might be done making moves, Brett Veach goes and opens a brand new door. With Trey Smith officially off the franchise tag and now locked into a contract extension, Kansas City has freed up roughly $9 million in cap space. That's no small chunk of change this late in the offseason. And if you've been following Veach long enough, you know that when cap space opens up, it usually means something's brewing behind the scenes. Now, I'm not saying a blockbuster deal is guaranteed, but when your front office gets that kind of flexibility just before training camp, you'd better believe it's for a reason. We've seen this play before. The Chiefs stay patient, let the off-season dust settle, and then strike with precision. Whether it's a late trade or a free agent who slipped through the cracks, Kansas City knows how to pounce. And look, a move like this, extending Trey Smith, sends a message to the locker room, too. It says, "We take care of our own." Smith has been a key piece of this offensive line, one of the most physical and dependable players in the trenches. Rewarding him not only strengthens team chemistry, but also sets a financial foundation to go hunting for that one final piece. So, with that $9 million freed up, the big question now is, how will Brett Veach use it? Could it be on a veteran playmaker, maybe a trusted defensive voice, or just a smart value pickup that makes a big difference? In December and January? Let me ask you this. Were you surprised by the timing of the Trey Smith deal? And do you think this cap space signals that one last surprise is coming before camp? Drop your thoughts below. And hey, if you're fired up for what Brett Veach might cook up next, hit that like button right now. Let's talk about the name that's been circling the Chiefs' rumor mill lately. Justin Simmons. Yeah, that Justin Simmons, the guy who spent years trying to take us down as a Bronco and now might actually be wearing red and gold. Sounds wild, right? But the more you look into it, the more it makes sense. Simmons recently did an interview with Kay Adams, and while he admitted he'd love to beat the Chiefs someday, he also left the door open to the idea of joining Kansas City. You know what they say, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. And frankly, that might be the best move for both sides. He's a veteran with a proven track record. 2-time Pro Bowler, 4-time second-team All-Pro. And in 2022, he led the entire NFL in interceptions with 6. That's not just good, that's elite. And the Chiefs? Well, if there's one thing this defense could use more of, it's turnovers. Simmons is a turnover machine. 2 picks last year, 3 in 2022, 5 the year before that. He brings a spark in the backfield you just can't coach. Now I know what you might be thinking, but we already have Jaden Hicks and Brian Cook. Do we really need Simmons? I get it, and I'm high on both. Those guys too. But picture this. Simmons as your number 3 safety, rotating in with Hicks and Cook, bringing leadership and experience into the mix. That's not depth, that's luxury. And no offense to Mike Edwards, but Simmons would be an upgrade in that role. He's played for the Broncos and Falcons, and for whatever reason, he's still a free agent deep into July. It doesn't add up, unless he's just waiting for the right opportunity. And what better opportunity than chasing a ring with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? So let's settle this with a vote. Should the Chiefs sign Justin Simmons? Type S for sign or P for pass in the comments and let your voice be heard. And don't forget, if you want to be the first to know if Veach actually pulls the trigger on Simmons, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're pushing hard for 5,000 subscribers, and your support helps keep Chiefs Kingdom in the loop every single day. Now let's shift the conversation to the offensive side of the ball. More specifically, to a name that sparked some real curiosity, Amari Cooper, the former first-round pick, 5-time Pro Bowler, and still one of the slickest route runners in the league. He's available, he's experienced, and yeah, even though the Chiefs don't need him, you can't help but wonder, should they make the call? Here's the deal, adding Amari Cooper wouldn't be a necessity for this offense. Let's be honest, this receiving core is already stacked. Rice is looking like a potential top 10 guy. Xavier Worthy flashed big-time potential late last season. Hollywood Brown is finally healthy. Then you've got Jalen Royals developing, and even Juju Smith-Schuster is back in the mix. This isn't a unit that's starving for help. But still, Cooper is out there. And with Trey Smith's deal freeing up cap space, suddenly the math works. Just a few months ago, Cooper's price tag was a little too rich for what teams wanted to pay. Now, that number's likely, dropping fast. The longer he stays unsigned, the more of a bargain he becomes. And Veach loves value. Let's not forget, the Chiefs reportedly almost traded for Cooper last season. They ended up backing out, likely because of the high cost. That decision may have saved them a headache. But now, without having to give up any draft capital, adding a veteran like Cooper on a team-friendly deal, that's a different story. Would he be the same guy who put up over 100 yards in Cleveland? Maybe not. But even a lesser version of Amari Cooper is still a savvy route runner who can give you clutch catches in January. And in this offense, he wouldn't need to carry the load. Just be a piece. So let me ask you, would you want to see Amari Cooper in red and gold? Drop a Y for yes or N for no in the comments. And if you're hungry for daily Chiefs coverage, help us get to 5,000 subscribers by smashing that sub button now. Trust me, we've got more coming. Now, if there's one area the Chiefs could still use a little boost heading into training camp, it's the pass rush. And that brings us to the third and final free agent on the radar, Zadarius Smith. At 32 years old, some might say he's on the back nine of his career, but don't let that number fool you. The man is still producing at a very high level, and more importantly, he brings exactly what Kansas City needs, consistent pressure off the edge. Last season alone, bouncing between Cleveland and Detroit, Smith racked up 9 sacks and 17 quarterback hits. That's not washed up, that's efficient. In fact, you look back at the past few years and you'll see a clear trend. 10 sacks in 2022, 5.5 in 2021, 12 back in 2020. The production is there, and the motor clearly isn't slowing down. The Chiefs' pass rush last year had its moments, but let's be real. It was streaky. There were stretches where the defense looked dominant, and then others where they couldn't get to the quarterback if he stood still for 5 seconds. Chris, Jones can't do it all by himself. George Karlaftis made strides, but there's still a need for depth and reliability. Now here's where things get interesting. Smith has played for several teams, the Ravens, Packers, Vikings, Browns, and Lions, and he's been productive just about everywhere he's gone. He may not demand top dollar at this stage, but what he does want is a shot at a Super Bowl ring. And who better to offer that than the Chiefs? Even if he's not a long-term solution, imagine adding a guy who can give you 8 to 10 sacks this year. No learning curve, no development time, just instant impact. That could make all the difference in tight playoff games, especially when the defense needs a big play on 3rd down. So tell me, would you take a flyer on Zadarius Smith? Drop your answer in the comments and let's get the conversation going. And if you're all in on building this defense into a powerhouse again, hit that like button right now to let us know. So now that we've broken down all 3 of these veteran free agents, Justin Simmons, Amari Cooper, and Zadarius Smith, it's time to put the decision in your hands. If Brett Veach could only make one more signing before training camp, who should it be? This is your moment, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's recap real quick. If you want a veteran safety who can force turnovers, mentor younger guys like Jaden Hicks and Brian Cook, and still play at a high level, then Justin Simmons is your guy. He's got the resume, he's got the production, and he's got unfinished business in the AFC West. If you think this offense needs just one more reliable weapon, someone who's been to the Pro Bowl 5 times and knows how to get open on 3rd and 8, then maybe Amari Cooper makes the most sense, especially now that his price is dropping and the Chiefs have more flexibility. But if your mindset is defense wins championships, and you know that an extra 9 sacks could be the difference between hosting the AFC title game or not, then Zadarius Smith is the move. Now, I want to hear from you directly. Type JS for Justin Simmons, AC for Amari Cooper, or ZS for Zadarius Smith in the comments right now. Let's see where Chiefs Kingdom really stands. And hey, If you've enjoyed the breakdown and you're ready to ride with this team through camp, preseason, and into another Super Bowl run, hit that subscribe button now and help us reach 5,000 subscribers strong. We're building something special right here at Total Chiefs News, and I want you in on it.